All of a sudden, we hear sticks snapping like something stepping on a stick. But we couldn't see anything. We kept going up the trail. The reason we chose this campsite is it's secluded from the rest of the campground. There's only one other campsite to the left, and then everything else around that is forest. We got there probably about 7:30 that night.
We'd have a campfire and we'd make hot dogs and cook marshmallows and so on.
Jack and I were very relaxed. We had our campfire going. We were settling into our normal routine.
Do you smell that?
Yeah, I do.
We were getting this strong taste of iron in the air.
What do you think that is?
I have no idea.
It smells like there's blood close by, but we didn't know where.
If you open a package of beef and you get that fresh smell of blood you just get the beef from the butchers, that's what we were getting.
I think it's coming from over there, though. Here, I'm gonna go check it out.
Well, wait a minute.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
We had to figure that there must have been a fresh deer kill right near our campsite. I said, I'm gonna walk down there and see what I can find.
It was very odd. As a note of transparency, I'm not a kind of person that I get feelings in the woods. I'm not that person that says, I feel like I'm being watched. But I started smelling that blood, and I started for the first time ever getting a creeped out feeling. That's a new feeling for me. At that moment in time, he turned and looked at me, and his eyeballs went boom.
My adrenaline was pumping through me. I was scared, I was shocked. I turn around, I see my dad, and behind him was this very large black humanoid figure that completely dwarfed him. It almost entirely blacked out our campfire. Because of that, I was able to fully see its general shape and how tall it really was. When something that's 9–10 feet tall, weighs almost 1,000 pounds, is no more than 10 feet away from you, it's scary. You know, I was genuinely afraid of this thing.
He was literally within an arm's length of me. He could have done anything he wanted to do to me at that point. He could have reached out, he could have snapped my neck, he could have smacked me out of the way. He could have done anything. He didn't. He just walked through.
After a couple seconds of me just staring completely stunned at him, we couldn't hear anything. We started looking around for evidence like footprints or tree breaks, structures. And we figured out that there was this large brush pile right next to our campsite.
We saw behind the brush pile where long grass had been pressed down, like something had been squatting there watching us.
And we figured out that it had been crouching down behind that brush pile, waiting for us to move out of the way or leave. It would have had to have been very close to our campsite. So we were pretty scared.
It's crazy. crazy. What do you... No way.
The only thing that we could figure is he wanted to go eat.
And it was going for that deer carcass.
He smelled the blood. He just went point A to point B. And I just happened to be standing in the way.
All right, we gotta go.
I was like immediately concerned because my son is there, my child is there. I need to get my child out of here in case this thing wants to be aggressive.
Gotta get this down.
And we started packing up and we got out of there. We were huffing that half-mile hike back to the car as fast as we could.
Look, over there.
I popped my spotlight on and I just shined it up into the woods in front of me. And probably 35 feet away, I see these two big blue eyes looking at me from between two trees. And as the spotlight hit it, I could see a large black humanoid shape. And he turned and I watched him turn his body and go.
What are you doing? Hey, Jack!
And I ran after it to try to see it myself. I was really terrified at that moment, but I wanted to go investigate and see what I could find.
Jack! Jack!
Now I'm in the mode of protect my son. I got to get to my son. I have to be there with him to make sure he's safe.
Jack! Jack!
And I took off after him. The sheer size of them, you're not prepared for. What they could do to us if they wanted to would be horrific.
Jack! Jack!
So I'm hollering, Jack, Jack.
There's something out here, predatorial in nature, that it is not afraid to kill.
Dad! Where are you?
I was scared of being in the woods.
Jack, you okay?
He goes, Dad, I saw it. And I said, what did you see? And he's described the back side of the creature, shoulders and the upper back, as it darted into a brush line leading into the forest.
We gotta go now. Come on.
We were scared. That generally scared us.
I kept hearing noises behind me. It sounded like maybe like something fell out of the tree.
Sounds like a pretty big scary monster out there. I'm really scared.
I felt like it was a game because I was messing with everybody a lot, so I thought, you know, now it's time for them to get me.
You guys are really scaring me with this stuff.
But no one was talking back or no laughing. The bush like blew up. Something jumped on this bush, and then the birds just took off. They were all like flying everywhere. I could feel that something's out there. I'm panicking because I don't know what's going on here. But I heard something in the cabin. I was thinking like, it is gonna be someone messing with me and it's gonna be a funny joke. You know, they got me good. Well, everything was closed when I ran inside. No doors open, Not a sound. Nobody running through the house to hurry up and hide or get back in bed real quick. So that's why I blocked this front of the patio off with the chairs, because I was like, well, someone's out there. I ran upstairs.
And the door banged open. And there was Matt, with just scared out of his mind, he looked like.
Who's messing with me?
What are you talking about?
He thought that Alyssa and Tanijah were outside messing with them.
What about Colin?
Colin's been in bed for ages.
Then he realized that it wasn't none of us.
There's somebody outside.
Matt is not a type of guy at all to just be scared of anything.
Okay, let's go see what's going on.
So I got up and I wanted to go down there and investigate what was happening.
That's when I first knew that Matt was really scared, because he blocked the stairs. Boy, something really spooked you. And coming out of the woods back there, I saw this black thing.
Over here.
And we see this creature. It was crawling. The moon was really bright that night, so it lit up the entire backyard, but only good enough to where you could see the figure, but you couldn't see, like, details of it.
What is it?
I don't know. Bear?
Look at those shoulders.
Its shoulders were really, really broad, really wide.
I was terrified because my body knew it was something different. It stood straight up.
He was huge.
Taller than any human. It was something I never seen before, and it freaked me out.
And it just started walking on two legs like a human.
It's coming right towards us.
And that's when I started freaking out. Whatever it is, it's coming for the cabin.
I was terrified, and now I can't move. I don't want to take my eye off of this thing to know what it's gonna do.
I was just ready to scream.
And it stopped and got back into crawling on all fours.
And then all of a sudden, he just went right back, like disappeared right into the deepness of the woods.
I'm gonna go get the others.
Bounced away from the window, ran and woke up everybody.
Alyssa! Colin!
Because I knew it was out there.
I thought that, okay, well, maybe he's like scared of us.
We should go out there.
We heard noises to the right of us, but you could tell it was not a human. It sounded like something none of us had ever heard before, and it was freaking us all out.
Sounds like it's coming from over there.
And all of a sudden, it was super quiet.
The downstairs door slams.
There, he's right there.
You could see something that zoomed by.
There.
I was scared. I was like panicky scared.
Everybody was just looking at the front of the cabin, but I kept hearing something behind me. Something kept taking a couple steps, and every time I would turn around, it would stop. Footsteps getting closer behind me.
Guys, there's something on that side, too.
I felt like there was at least 2 or 3 of whatever that was stalking us. The one up front was like trying to distract us while the other one would sneak up behind us. I was expecting something to pop out at any moment.
And then the noises that started coming all around us, it felt like.
There was definitely more than one there.
You know, everywhere you looked, it was so active.
I felt surrounded.
Alyssa's like scared to death.
My first Bigfoot encounter was very much unexpected. It was a very real experience that changed me. I was 17 years old. I had a place to fish that I had been to with my dad ever since I was a little boy. That day, there was nothing that was strange. Everything was just the way it had been ever since I was a little boy. The place I fished was a series of gravel pits or borrow pits where they take the gravel out of the earth. I loved to fish, and that was my place to get away. I had noticed some footprints, but I attributed that to be other animals or beavers that had slid and didn't really pay a whole lot of attention. As I was heading on down there, I kept noticing that there was a strange smell. And as I was walking, something began to pace me from inside the wood line. And that had never happened before, even with my dad being there all them years. So I was listening and I heard a step beside me.
Hello? Hello?
I just blew it off. I continued walking. When I did, pretty soon the steps continued beside me. And I thought, man, now that's too coincidental. So I stopped again.
Hello?
It kind of made me uneasy, but then, when you're in the woods, your imagination can run wild with you. I've quickened my pace a little bit. Pretty soon, whatever this animal is walking beside me again. I thought, well, this thing is actually pacing me over here, so I started jogging. When I started jogging, this thing was spoon, spoon, spoon. And I realized whatever it was paying attention to me. So I took off running. All of a sudden, when I heard this animal roar at me, the first thing that impressed me was volume. Oh my gosh. Your clothes vibrate. It's that loud. We have cottonmouths, we have copperheads, we have rattlesnakes. I ran through the woods with disregard for those things. I realized what I had was going to be a whole lot worse than a snake bite. I cross the road, look around, nothing there, so I'm like, man, whatever that was, you just considered yourself lucky. But I went that night and I bought me a Bowie knife. I thought, I'll take care of that sucker next time I'm down here. It's human nature, after your threat has gone away, time kind of heals everything. Lightning's not going to strike twice in the same place. But as I get to where this crossroads is, I take a look down there. I had that uneasy feeling, that sixth sense that you get that something's not right. And the smell is just even worse now. I'm looking down there, I notice a shape. This shape all of a sudden begins to move. And he looks at me. He postures to me like, this is my area. Don't come down here. And he begins to teeter from one side to the other side. And his eyes were black as pieces of charcoal. And he never took his gaze off of me. I realized that I was hyperventilating. I couldn't breathe. My feet said, go. My body said, you're not. And I was just frozen to the ground. I'm weighing out my options. Finally, it came to me that as I started getting some of my bearings back about me, that I needed to go. I'm looking over my shoulder to make sure he's not coming. It has no place I can hide. I'm running like crazy. He's going to get you here. He's already up here, and he's going to step out, and he's going to get you. What am I going to do with my rod and reel? That was given to me by somebody that was special to me at the time. So I got it, and I took off like there was no tomorrow. I could not breathe. I was shaking, crying uncontrollably. My whole face was just soaking wet. Did this really happen? Was this really real? And your answer is always yes. My world had been messed up because not only was it to the point that it affected me physically, but psychologically. It was actually a Bigfoot. So it made me realize these things are here.
Well, I had been in the woods several times. I could identify the woods because there was a peace and a serenity about them, and so I really tapped into that. The woods there are some places where you can see a good ways, then there's others you can only see for maybe 20, 40 yards.
Keep up, dude. Just admiring the view. Let's go this way. All right.
As we began the journey up the hill, we talked amongst ourselves, and we said, if we want to have a chance to see any deer, probably the next best spot would be up on top of that hill, because you can see for a long ways.
Good job, Davey. Thanks. Want to go start the fire? Sure.
We found a real good place to pitch our tent. It was just the perfect spot. Beautiful views up on top of that hill. We got our fire going. We got our stuff out, started roast our marshmallows. After we had our bellies full, and then we started getting a little tired. So let's get in the tent and lay down.
I'm getting tired. Shall we get in the tent? I'll follow behind.
So about 1:30 in the morning, we started getting tired. We just laid our head down and go to sleep, and just started getting relaxed. I heard snapping noises. The snapping noises was louder than a raccoon or a squirrel.
Wake up! What? I heard something. There's somebody out there. You sure? Yeah.
I just thought it was somebody out there, obviously, that had walked up upon us. I did whisper to him. I said, who could be out there? He said, I don't know. And after he said, I don't know, that's when we started hearing the breathing noises. Now, I never heard nothing like that before. We're just looking at each other with questions in our eyes as what's going on?
What was that?
Boom! This thing hit me on the head.
Probably my brother Ed trying to scare us. Maybe.
George said, I don't know, unless it's my brother. My brother Ed might be up here trying to scare us.
How about this? On the count of 3, we ambush him. Okay.
George said, hey, on the count of 3, let's go out and scare him. He thinks he's up here scaring us. I goes, okay. So he goes, 1, 2, 3. Ah! And then I see what's actually standing here. It's not George's brother. I see this thing is about this wide because I'm looking straight at it. I'm looking almost like at its chest and the shoulder area. And it's about 3.5, 4 feet wide, and it's all hairy. My mind was going in 1,000 different directions at that point, thinking, what in the world is this? And I had literally raised my head up to see its head, and that's when I caught its eyes pure black, pure black. George, he goes, oh my God, Dave, that's Bigfoot. We're running as fast as track starts. We're booking it. We go to George's house. We're obviously beating on the door to try to get in.
Open up, please, let us in! What is wrong with you guys? Are you afraid of the dark?
George's sister finally came to the door because we were hammering on that thing. I was scared. The next morning, we all sat down to breakfast, and George's dad was there. We said, hey, we had an experience last night.
What do you mean?
He's back.
You sure?
I said, well, what do you mean he's back? George's dad said, Bigfoot, Dave. I said, when did you guys see it? He said, well, we seen it about 6 months ago. He said, it was in the barn out there. We heard the cows moving, and we heard a commotion, so I grabbed the gun, and George came out with me. We went out to the barn.
Stay close here. was that? There it was. Right in front of us. Take me to where it happened.
George's father, he said, let's go up on top of the hill and check for tracks. But we all three walk up on top of the hill. George's father saw the tracks, and he knelt down and looked at them, and he shook his head. We went over to it, and looking at it. All I knew is this long, it's about this wide, and at the end, instead of having like 5 toes that you would think would have, it had 3 toes.
Tell you one thing, tracks don't lie. I've never, ever seen anything like this.
We followed the track out across the ridge, the last track, which was in the center of the logging road, and right there, where there's nothing else except roadway, the track stopped. No more tracks. Where did this thing go? We looked over the hillside. We could find some other place where maybe it jumped real long and landed somewhere. Nothing. Made me think, what is this thing? What is this creature?
Let's head back to the tent.
And George's father, he measured the distance from the last track back to the tent.
This thing must be massive. Look, how far apart the prints are. Come on, boys. Let's get out of here. Grab your bags.
He said, you know what, boys? It's time to take this thing. Get your stuff. Let's get out of here. He said, this place is giving me the creeps.
I was shaking so bad. I mean, my knees were knocking in my teeth, and I was froze. The creature was hairy, black, shiny hair. But I'm pretty sure it was a Bigfoot. And so he's standing behind a tree, looking at me about 15 yards. And I'm looking at him, and it was terrible. He was growling. He got, one time he got so mad at me, he started beating the tree with the sides of his fist. Boom, 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 you know. You can even have the deer stand. You know, I don't care, I just want to get out of here. He was growling real bad, you know, at me.
Stay back there! Stay back!
He showed me his teeth. They were just big and flat.
Stay back or I'll shoot!
Yeah, I said, you know, it looks like I might have to shoot this thing, you know. And so I knew I would have to make a headshot. What I'm gonna do is look through my scope. He had like a human face, and his eyes scared me. Everybody said, well, did the body's big scare you? I said, no, it was his eyes. I mean, they were satanic. I've never in my life been that scared. I just, I wanted to cry because I've never seen that like that. It was horrible. Yeah, I was actually afraid to shoot him because I thought I'd make him madder, you know. And like I said, I just wanted him to leave, go back where he come from, and I was gonna go back where I come from, but he wouldn't do it. I had the crosshairs right between his eyes, and it's like about a 20-yard shot, maybe 15 yards. And as I was getting ready to pull the trigger, he let out a roar like a lion. About 100 yards to the north from him a whistle come back, a shrill whistle, kind of like a steam engine, you know. And I'd heard that whistle all my life in the woods, but I thought it was a bird. Well, he looked over at it, and he'd come back and looked at me, and he whistled back. Kind of did a grin.
Who's there? Who's there?
And that's when I heard the other one coming. He was coming.
Stay back! Stop!
You know, something told me, you better go, or you're gonna die.
Not another step or I'll shoot!
He let out a roar, and it was just like a 70-mile-per-hour wind hit me, you know, and it was loud. You could have heard it a mile. When I heard that other creature coming, I decided, you know, I had to do something, and it was coming down to the deal whether they'll live or die. You could tell whatever it was heavy because of the way it was cracking, the brush coming. And it was coming in such a way, it was a hostile, mean way. You could tell it was trying to get there. And I just said, you know, these things they're everywhere. You know, I don't want to die.
Who is that?
I knew they'd overrun me. And so I take out running down that road fast I could, started running toward my truck. I was ready to run like I'll get out, you know, because I was scared. With no gun, I know the guy can kill me. I'm running. You know, I'm trying to run, but I'm so afraid that my legs felt like they weighed 500 pounds. You know, I feel like I couldn't move. And so here he comes. He's chasing me. And he's in the woods about 50 feet from me. We were running like that. I was running to my truck, and he was flanking me over to the left. And I was worried about the other one, you know, where was he at? He was running parallel with me, but he was running through trees. I'm running down old logging road, it's pretty clean, but he was running through trees and he was just bulldozing them. Got those big thorn trees, and they got thorns on them like that. They'll cut you, if you touch, you get cut bad. And but he was running through that stuff. I mean, it was like he was mowing it down. I mean, and then, you know, I could hear him. Yeah, these are some very smart, intelligent creatures. I think what he was trying to do, get ahead of me and cut me off.
Please! No, please!
I'm running up to my truck, and I get to thinking, you know, when I've got to stop, put the key in it, that's when he'll attack me, when I get my back to him. He'll probably come up and jump me. had a 270 Remington, high-powered rifle. The creature, he made me feel like it was a BB gun, you know, and he let me know point blank, hey, I'm not afraid of you.
It was just us three boys alone playing around the trailer. As we're running around from the trailer, chasing sticks in our hands, we were on the back side of the trailer.
What was that?
And the scream sounded like a woman being murdered or ripped apart.
Let's go check it out.
It was extremely loud and terrifying.
But Herman said we can't go into.
Come on, let's go check it out.
But there really was not much of a group discussion. It was more like we were drawn to what had screamed, and we just had to go see what it was. That was kind of creepy, but let's go check it out. I'm not sure if it was just the adrenaline and the fear that we had from hearing what we had heard, but we made our way towards the woods.
I'm not sure we should be doing this.
Don't be scared. Come on, it's fun. Let's keep going.
The one thing I do remember is, you know, there were no birds. There were no crickets. There were no noises.
Robert, I want to go back.
You go back if you want to.
The farther back you went, the more thick the trees were. That's when we heard the sound.
Stay close. We need to go home. Just keep together.
As we're walking, we heard a crack.
Stop. Look.
We looked up, and about 15 feet up, we saw what, at the time, only thing I could compare it to was something from the Planet of the Apes. It was the hairy man. I mean, that's all we knew what to call it, because I had nothing else to compare it to before. I had never heard of Bigfoot. I've never heard of Sasquatch. It was something that was never introduced to us. When we looked up, it was squatted down with its left hand holding onto the tree. It didn't have any emotion on its face. It was just a stone look on its face. It just seemed like it was observing us.
What's it doing?
Shh.
Be still.
We were terrified, and then when we made eye contact with it, it made eye contact with us. That's when it made a move. It all came crashing down.
It's coming!
So as kids, there's no fight or flight, you know, it's just flight. We were terrified. We had to get out of the situation. It was that day that I realized in order to survive with my older brothers, I needed to be a faster runner.
Hey, Jimmy, it's coming!
My oldest brother beat us back to the trailer.
Open it up! Open it up! I can't, it'll get in! Go hide!
We tried to get in, pounded. He locked the door.
Open it!
It felt like this is it, for sure. We're goners. It's got us. I was too scared.
Here, quick!
Right outside our back door was an old freezer chest. It had a plexi-top type glass top to it. So me and my brother, we had no other option. We jumped in it. We could see its silhouette through the top. It was right there. We felt like there was no way out, that this wasn't going to end good. It sounded like a horse. We did not know if it was getting ready to tip the thing over and tear us apart. It stood there for a second, paused briefly, and then it walked away.
I think it's gone.
We burst out of there, and as soon as we burst out of the freezer, my older brother opened the door and said, "Get in here, it's gone. Get in here, it's gone." When we first got into the trailer, I think there was a lot of bickering about how could you lock us out?
How the hell could you have done that?
How could you leave us out there? Why did you leave us out there?
You just left us out there to die! We're not dead now, are you?
But there was a sense of relief, a sense of safety. We aren't going back outside. There's no way we're going back outside. We're in that trailer. I did not want to see what I saw ever again.
Come on, guys. It's okay. Mom and Dad will be home soon. I promise.
We're in the back bedroom, our bedroom. It's dark, and my brothers have this flashlight that flashes silhouettes on the wall.
I better get here quick. Booga booga. I'm a hair man.
Stop it, Alan.
Oh, jeez, I'm just kidding. It's just a joke, Jimmy.
Basically, my brothers are playing how much can we scare our little brother.
What are you looking at? It's back. It's out there.
It was huge. It took up the whole entire window. A man-shaped silhouette. It would have to be upwards to 8.5 to 9 feet tall. It was, if you were looking at the Incredible Hulk with hair. The only thing separating me was a piece of glass. We were all petrified.
What was that?
Something had smashed into the back of our back door, outside of our bedroom door. It was almost like it was its way of getting in. We're terrified. We didn't really know what to do.
There was something very weird back there. Let's get back to the car.
It was only going to be a 10 to 15 minute walk. It wasn't anything that we hadn't done before. We'd been in these woods before. We're familiar with them.
As we walked back into the forest, I remember the forest being quiet. I don't remember hearing other sounds. No crickets, nothing. It was quiet. It was within probably 5 minutes of being back in these woods, we were like, where are we?
Look around. Where are we? We're right by the,
As we got deeper into the woods, we started to realize that we were getting confused.
Wait, we were on the path.
It was like it was a completely different area. And we had made that walk about an hour before with zero problem.
It's this way. Come on. Wait.
We started taking the wrong paths. It seemed like things had changed.
This confusion set in to where we didn't necessarily know which direction we were walking.
Should we turn this way? Should we turn that way?
It's that way, right? No, it's that way. We're going that way.
We were irritated, we were frustrated.
We're going that way.
He drove us nuts. I mean, this has been almost 10 years. I still can't explain to you why this was happening.
Come on, there's a trail up ahead.
I see ahead of us, there's a path, and we're gonna just walk down that, and I suggest, hey, let's see if we can just follow this path, and maybe this will help us get out.
I've already been here. We're walking around in circles, Jesse.
Shh.
Did you hear that?
And in the midst of that, I start to hear like twigs snapping.
We started hearing these loud thuds behind us.
Probably just a deer.
And obviously there's a lot of deer in Iowa. So immediately I started to assume it's probably a deer.
And it sounded like footsteps, but like heavy footsteps, not like a human.
There's no way that's a deer.
It was something very large.
It was probably between 10 o'clock and midnight. I started to just like try to figure out what could be following us. I mean, we're in the middle of the woods at night, what could it be? There was a tense feeling in the air. You have the feeling where your hair is standing up on the back of your neck.
I don't think we're alone here.
And we look up and we find this very large branch that had been twisted off. 8 foot up, like snapped. It had been like literally just wound and just snapped off. And there was this substance on it.
And this clear residue was dripping from the bite mark.
Something's been chewing on it?
Do you realize how big that thing would have to be to get up there?
It looked like saliva dripping down the branch.
You're right. We're definitely not alone out here.
I would say these sounds they were probably definitely 30 to 40 feet behind us.
Who's out there?
I'm looking and I'm seeing nothing. And that was what also added to the whole confusion.
Who's out there?
You're trying to rationalize what could be following you. I don't think deer like to follow people. We started to hear what seemed like bodies moving through the woods.
Did you hear that?
They seemed to be coming towards us.
We were both basically frozen in fear.
I don't like this, man.
I have no idea what could be coming at us.
There's definitely something out there.
We just want it out.
Bro, let's get out of here.
It felt like there's 2 or 3 individual things following us.
Steph, wait.
Wait up. Seth, we gotta find a way out of here. It seems like something is pushing us through the woods, in a sense, in a specific direction.
I think we're almost there. Stay here.
I remember being scared, like, I don't know if we're gonna make it out tonight. We're either gonna be stuck in here until daylight, or we're just not gonna make it out. So I go down to the left, ended up finding a track.
This way!
But we split up.
Jesse!
Seth? I still couldn't see my brother Seth.
Where are you?
Seth! And then that's when I started to hear this rustling across the path.
Seth, where are you? Seth!
I could see broad, square shoulders covered in hair, a giant head, which was encased with these red eyes, and long flowing hair that drooped down onto the shoulders as well. The head was probably roughly the size of a good-sized pumpkin. And then the shoulders, my goodness, probably 4 feet across. I mean, the only thing I could compare it to would be a giant gorilla. So directly in front of the creature is this fallen tree. So that tree probably had to weigh at least a couple 100 pounds, maybe 300-400 pounds. And with one big hand, it just slammed it down onto the tree and pushed that tree out of the way with zero effort. That tree flew through the air, crashed through the woods.
Seth! Jesse! Help! Seth!
Bigfoot researchers think this could be a form of communication for these creatures.
Something mimicked what he did. Something else knocked on a tree. At that moment, that's when I realized what it was. It had to be Bigfoot. No other animal has hands to pick up a stick and not, hit a tree. It had to be a Bigfoot. I started getting really afraid.
Okay, everybody be calm. Gwen, get your phone out. We're gonna see if we can get this on video right now.
Mike said, we need to get footage of this. We need to get video, we need to get audio.
Let's check this out. We've heard footsteps, movement, and a definitive wood-on-wood knock, tree knock, not 200 feet from us.
I thought we are communicating. See how far we can go.
It died.
What do you mean it died? Here, look. There you go. Just keep filming, Gwen. No matter what happens, just keep rolling the camera, okay?
We heard something come in a little closer.
The wood knock happens up on the ridge. The footsteps happen down below us. Now, wait a minute. How can that one come down here that quick?
I believe that we've got two creatures. One over here, one back here. They're watching us right now. This way. That way.
We start hearing things go on all around us. And I'm thinking, uh-oh. What's going on here?
I was so in my own world listening to everything and sort of like in a panic.
Listen, it's communicating with us. Here, let's try this.
My nerves at that point got a little crazy.
Gwen, what are you doing?
I didn't want to look silly, but I felt comfortable in my little circle.
Hey, Gwen, are you okay?
Just go.
Here, give me the phone, okay?
And all of a sudden, from nowhere, here's a growl. You know, just this. I said, did you hear that?
I heard a growl. It sounded to me demonic.
And that's when everything got a little crazy. It was a lot of excitement, a lot of fear, and I hadn't really thought out the dangers of what I was getting myself into.
It was just like hell broke loose, really. It was, they went wild.
They're very animalistic sounding. They were real low and really growly and really loud.
Just the sound that they were making was terrifying. I mean, it was bone-chilling. It would sound like way back on the mountain, and then sound so close to us, it was like right on us. We were surrounded. I mean, they were all right on us.
As long as I was in my circle, I felt okay. I knew if I left my circle that it would become more frightening.
I start hearing chatter back and forth like they're talking to each other, but it's not like humans talk. It's murmur.
I heard something else from that.
Not really a whistle, but I don't know.
It was more like some kind of chatter.
That was enough. I had to get out of there. I was just going to take off and run myself.
Mike, we have to go now.
I reached over and touched Kenny, and I could feel that he was scared. I realized I had to get these two out of here.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I'm ready to get out of here, too. Come on, Glenn, we gotta go, we gotta go. They're getting closer, okay?
Michael said it's time to go.
You guys just go ahead. I'm better off here.
And I said, no, I'm okay in here. I said, just go ahead. He said, no, you're coming. You need to come with us.
No, we can't stay. We gotta go. Come on, let's get out of here. Come on, guys, we gotta go. Come on, let's go.
Once I left my circle, that's when I felt the real fear.
Come on, guys, let's go. Look, walk slowly, don't run, okay? If we run, this thing will chase us. This thing is a predator. If we run, we're dead.
I hear this stomping coming toward us at a very fast rate. Doo, 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 doo.
Shh.
And you could hear each heavy footfall as it just came rushing, just loud footsteps. I was like, oh my God.
Listen.
You've heard people talking about your life flashing before you. I was going through my mind of like, if we get attacked, you know, what's my family gonna do? I honestly thought we would die.
It was angry. It wanted us gone. It wanted us out. That was pure fear.